Alright, so today we're going to be talking about how morality and humanity, either they coexist within each other, or they're separate, or they correlate between each other. Now, what is your theory?
Basically what I believe, and I personally emphasize really, is that morality and humanity are one, right? You can't have one without the other, like I said in previous videos, but you can't have one but without the other, it wouldn't work. I believe that both have to be the same, because in order to create a society, you need to have both.
Okay.
So humans are really, I believe, honestly, they're born with both sides. As a human side and as a moral side, which develops over time into different sets of morals. If we have two pairs of twins, right, then we separate them at birth, and we raise them in different countries, they will both have human sides, right? They're equal. But the morals will be different. Even though they're twins and they were born from the same mother, same genes, same everything.
Because of the culture.
Because of the culture they were raised at, right? So that means if we connect each other in the future, that we all become closer to one another, that means that our morals will actually intertwine with each other and create one moral. And that's when we finally will understand that morality and humanity are one with each other. Not separated, or they bounce out with each other. They're one with each other.
Now, Elijah, what do you believe?
I can understand that morality and humanity might be able to be together, but some people prefer one over the other. And that's why it seems like it's separate. It might not be, or it might be, but I think that they are separate because people make it seem like it's separate. You see one person...
So I see what you're saying. So like, in your mind, because it's separate in your mind, it's separate.
Right.
Theoretically.
Exactly. Because, you see, everyone has their own set of moral codes, but some might not use them. Some might ignore them, or some might have lost them. But that doesn't mean they're any less humane.
Let's use an example. When I see this tree, you see a tree, right?
Yes.
I see plastic.
I
see plastic.
He sees plastic. Why? Because it's fake.
But when I look at it, it looks like a tree.
It looks like a tree. So he think it is a tree. Because why? In his mindset, it's a tree. So therefore, why? Because we are not... Oh, no.
In my vision, I kind of see life. Well, that's what I see. I see life when I see a tree.
See, and he says, and let's say this. Because we are not the body. We are consciousness. And our consciousness makes up who we are. And as a result, our conscience differs. And, our one conscience might not be the other. So as a result, he sees plastic tree. But in your consciousness, you see a real tree. In his consciousness, he sees a plant and life. So, and in my consciousness, because I was up close, I seen that everything was fake, and even the soil was fake. So my consciousness was, perception was that the tree was fake.
So there are people in the world that are like me,
yeah,
who see something and really it's just an illusion. I saw a tree, that was an illusion though. It's really just plastic. He knew that it was an illusion.
But see, it is in the form of one.
See, it's
a
tree.
It's not that I knew it was plastic, it's that you look past the fact that it looks real. That's why you start to examine the leaves and you realize they are not real.
We look at the perspective of humanity, we perceive this instinctive notion or action. We then react to that notion, and afterwards we have no remorse or any emotional attachment to that situation, because there's no thinking process in humanity. Morality is the very opposite. We decide what to perceive, we decide rather to act upon their perception, and we are concluded with an emotional attachment. So what do you guys believe about that?
But the emotional attachment, right, that creates values. And when those values are lost, that's when you become more hostile, right? So if we never had values to begin with, we wouldn't be as hostile. But at the same time, a world where you don't value anything, I mean, it just doesn't feel like living anymore. It feels like nothing's worth it, right?
You have two different countries. America, for instance, and maybe Iraq, for instance. It may be publicly moral to cut their hand off if they stole something. But in the United States, that's maybe abuse of a human that may be.
And we don't
I
do
see
that.
what you're saying.
We don't do
Exactly.
that.
And someone that's living in Iraq, their moral might be different from cutting a person's hands off.
And that creates an extremely big conflict, and that's where war starts, and that's where humanity starts to fade away. So with morality, sometimes we may get the same morals and we can interconnect, but sometimes you're gonna have those times when people
See, I can
don't
see
connect
that.
at all, and then
'Cause-
when they pull apart, the more war that happens, the more the political wars they have, and next thing you know, everything pretty much is gonna be
Like,
devastated.
let's take an example: the Crusades. During the jihadists of Islam and the Crusaders of Christ. Why? Because the humanity was being separated and then the morality was being separated.
Because something appear is evidence of its reality, not because something appear means it's real. There are many things, most, that appear is a fabrication of the mind, not true, not real. This you're coming to complete clarity about it. And in just seeing, in that perfect understanding, a great unburdening begin for you.
Organism functioning in terms of the whole environment, with the whole environment, instead of this funny little separate personality. But how are we going to do that? People say, oh, you can't change human nature overnight. You're asking us to give up the ego. And that's the most difficult of all things to do. Actually, it isn't. Because the ego doesn't exist. But of course, if you try to give up your ego with your ego, then it will take you to the end of time. Because this is the point. You can't transform yourself. You can't make yourself sane. You can't make yourself loving. You can't make yourself unselfish. And yet it's absolutely necessary that we be that way. It's absolutely necessary. If we are going to hand over the direction of nature to nature, which is what it comes to, it's absolutely necessary that we let go of ourselves, and it can't be done. Not by anything that we call doing, acting, willing, or even just accepting things. You can't do it. Why? Because you don't really exist as that kind of a separate ego or personality. It's just an idea based on a phony feeling.
So after watching this, we can come to a conclusion that what? Humanity and morality
Are one with each other.
for existence.
For existence of the world. That's what I was saying, that whenever you be one with the world, then eventually you will understand what the purpose of your life is.
Now, we cannot neglect the fact that because we separate humanity and morality within our mind, in reality, it becomes separate.
So let's come to a conclusion. Morality and humanity are one, but we just see them as separate. We see them as separate beings. And that's right. And that's what it's supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do as humans. So as humans, we will not be able to understand the whole entire concept of morality and humanity. So the conversation is without end. The more we go into life, the different points of view we will have.
So it's like discriminating one instead of two.
Exactly. So you can't really...
They're all numbers.
So you can't describe one without the other and the other without one.
But see,
Because they're all the same.
in reality, 1 and 2 does not actually exist.
See,
It's
we
just
all
numbers.
we have an idea. So, in conclusion, humanity cannot supersede
Morality.
morality. And
Morality
morality
cannot
can't
supersede.
supersede humanity, because you can't fight water with water, because it will all be together at the end. Because water will come out with water.
Even if it's water vapor versus ice.
Exactly. You have
It's
different
still water.
forms. It's still water. Eventually, it will all be water.
I agree with that.
So.
Alright, so we came to the conclusion that humanity cannot supersede morality, and neither can morality supersede humanity. Because why? They coexist within each other. And after amplifying and analyzing each of these theories, we have come to the same conclusion that actually they don't exist.